G'day, 9 minutes and 20 seconds into FP1 here at Monza. Italian driver Kimi Antonelli crashes at very nearly the same spot that the safety car crashed at yesterday. Mercedes have put Kimi Antonelli into George Russell's car for the first practice session. I was on the outside of Parabolica when I suddenly see Kimi spear off the track, go 50 metres through the gravel and then bang, ends up against the Tech Pro barrier. So at that point I race further around, find a gap and wait for Kimi to get out of the car. At this point, I must say initially I didn't know which driver it was. Was it Lewis or was it Kimi? Because Kimi was in George's car. Now the spot that Kimi crashed at was about, I'm guessing 80 metres further around the track than where the safety car came off yesterday and hit the barriers. I'll come back to the safety car crash in just a moment. Kimi sat in the car for about a minute, then got out and wasn't sure which way to go. Should he cross the track, which would have been the quicker way back, or should he come off to my side? He ended up coming off my side, walked towards me, stood just behind me with a marshal eventually taking off his helmet. Now it's tough shooting this sort of stuff because I know Kimi, I've spoken to him and he's a fine young man, only just 18 years of age. Younger than my two boys. And of course, there's huge pressure put on him for this FP1 session, mainly from his countrymen, Italians. He's Italian, he's driving here at one of the great Italian tracks, and he's crashed out with just a few laps under his belt. A couple of minutes after taking off his helmet, he was then ushered out onto the track where he jumped in the medical car, and about that time all of the vehicles appeared to repair the damage, and they work incredibly quickly. Of course, this is gutting for a young driver to only get a few minutes out on track and to damage what might be his future teammate's car. I saw him this morning as he was heading upstairs to get changed, and just prior to that, I followed him over to Prema, where he was having a chat with his crew over there because, of course, he's still racing in Formula 2. Now, going back to the safety car crash, I've been told that that was a brake failure issue brought about because the new track has a lot more grip. So drivers can brake a lot later, and that means that brakes overheat. Now, I'm no car man, so I've just been told by two people that this is what they think. They haven't had clarification yet, but maybe by the time you watch this video, that has been confirmed. I can tell you that Toto Wolff was asked in the press conference what he said to Kimi prior to going out on track, and he simply responded with, I told him to enjoy it. You have the best job in the world. And then he went on to say that nobody's interested in FP1 and we should just get on with things. He went on to say that after the crash, he said exactly the same thing to him. And so what do we read into this? Well, I think it's not of importance to Mercedes. They still have a lot of faith in this young fella. A lot of you on Instagram are saying he's too young. Well, I think the team will decide if he's too young. And my understanding is that he'll be announced on Saturday of the Monza Grand Prix 2024. If you're watching this several months later, you'll know if my prediction has indeed come true, but I would be having some money on that. I'm recording this in the media centre just after the crash, and a few people I've chatted to said, and I know this too, that you only learn from your mistakes. Certainly I know that in photography, and he will have learnt a lot from this. Now, going back to these pictures I took, I've got to tell you, it was a pure fluke because I actually went down to try and find the entry to get to the outside of Parabolica. Couldn't find it, came back to the inside, and then somebody sent me a note saying, try this entry. Rolled up at a window where marshals were standing, and two of them kindly moved back a little bit, allowing me to get my camera through this window. The very first frame I took was this one, and then I kept my finger on the shutter. I tell you, it's so easy to miss crashes like this. I was using the new Canon R1, and I was pretty happy with the performance. And once the car stopped, I realised I couldn't see it from where I was standing, so I raced probably 60 metres around the track. There was an opening, and I get these beautiful shots of Kimi coming towards me. Now, there was no other person around there. I had the whole scene to myself, which, at a European F1 race, very unusual. Somebody made a comment on the post too, how are you always at the crashes? Well, I'm not always at the crashes. I'm just at the crashes that you see me post pictures about. Kimi wasn't hurt in the incident. I think a lot of the Italians will be hurt that their young charge didn't get through that session and perform like a champion. But as I mentioned before, these things are meant to teach us to be better. And I'm certain that will be the case with Kimi. Oh, other things today. I did this little piece on video the other day highlighting that Logan Sargent was on the signage just outside the track near the swipe gates. Well, today they've changed things and gone back to this very simple one. Obviously they didn't have time to get Franco Colapinto signage printed, although I did see a studio located up here not too far from the media centre, where obviously they can shoot different pictures. So it wouldn't surprise me if they shot him sometime over the last day, and at some point we get that particular banner back with Franco in it. Did we have any dogs in the paddock? Yes, we had Leo. Charles Leclerc and Alexandra's dog was a big hit on social media. It always is, and it's certainly growing. She doesn't walk it in, she chose to carry it in today. And one final thing before I head out to shoot free practice 2, I loved this handbag of Carlos Sainz's mum. Clearly a standout with a model car on the top. Oh, and this lady's outfit here I thought was fetching. In short, I wouldn't be too worried about that crash of Kimi Antonelli's. I don't think that's going to set him back one iota, and I think we'll find that come Saturday, he'll be announced as George Russell's teammate for season 2025. Thanks for watching. Stay passionate. So this is a test of audio, and I think it may well be too loud. And if I wind this back down to here, I don't know, I think that's probably the level that I'll be talking at for exactly 5 minutes, and I think that's probably pretty good.